The Blue Jays are making moves that most people aren't paying attention to, and what's happening right now could completely reshape this roster before opening day. Forget everything you think you know about how Toronto builds their team because the strategy has shifted and the front office is operating on a timeline that doesn't match what the media is reporting. Right now, the trade market is heating up and Toronto is positioned to make acquisitions that address weaknesses money alone cannot fix. We've seen the aggression with Varsho, we watched them pursue Bieber, and the pattern tells us this organization understands something critical. You don't win the AL East by outspending everyone. You win by identifying the exact pieces that turn a competitive roster into a championship contender. The margin for error in this division is zero, and every move from this point forward either extends the window or closes it permanently. Let's talk about what's actually driving the urgency. George Springer's contract is winding down, Dalton Varsho's timeline is approaching, and the 2027 free agent class looks weak. That's not speculation, that's reality. If Toronto waits until 2027 to replace their outfield production, they're gambling with a window that might already be closed. The front office knows this, which is why the focus has shifted to acquiring players with multiple years of control through trades rather than banking on short-term free agent signings. This isn't about making noise, it's about sustaining competitiveness through 2028 and beyond. Stephen Kwan is the name that keeps surfacing in trade discussions, and there's a reason for that. This isn't about chasing the flashiest bat on the market. Kwan represents something Toronto's lineup desperately needs: elite contact ability. Last season, he posted a strikeout rate under 10% while recording over 170 hits. That's not just plate discipline, that's the kind of hitter who puts constant pressure on opposing pitchers and creates base-running opportunities that change the complexion of an entire offense. Toronto has power, they have speed, but the ability to consistently put the ball in play with two strikes? That's been missing. But Kwan isn't just an offensive upgrade. Since 2022, he's accumulated 63 defensive runs saved. That's elite-level defense, the kind that protects a pitching staff and turns potential extra base hits into routine outs. When you're building a roster designed to compete deep into October, defense matters as much as offense, and Kwan provides both at a level that's extremely rare in today's game. He's not a rental, he's not a stopgap, he's a foundational piece for the post-Springer era. If you're serious about understanding how championship rosters are built, and you want to follow every strategic move Toronto makes this offseason, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. We break down the moves that matter, the trades that shift the balance of power, and the roster construction decisions that separate contenders from pretenders. Your support keeps this content coming and ensures you're always ahead of the curve when it comes to Blue Jays coverage. Now, the outfield isn't the only area that needs attention. There's a quiet but critical weakness in the bullpen, specifically the lack of a dominant left-handed reliever for high-leverage situations. Jojo Romero of the Cardinals is the answer to that problem. Last season, he posted a 2.07 ERA and ranked in the 95th percentile for ground ball rate. That's not luck, that's skill. In high-pressure moments, he held opposing hitters to a .164 average, which is exactly the kind of reliability Toronto needs in tight playoff games. What makes Romero even more appealing is his versatility. Toronto could acquire him now and plug him directly into the bullpen, or they could hold on to him as a trade deadline asset if the Cardinals fall out of contention. Either way, he's a low-risk, high-reward addition that strengthens the bullpen without requiring a massive prospect package. These are the types of moves that championship teams make. Small, precise acquisitions that add up to a significant competitive advantage over the course of a season. But the move that would truly elevate Toronto into elite-tier status is a trade for Freddy Peralta. This would be expensive, there's no way around that. Peralta is coming off a season where he won 17 games, struck out over 200 batters, and posted a 2.70 ERA. Those aren't good numbers, those are ace numbers. His 1.08 whip shows pinpoint command, and his ability to dominate across an entire season makes him one of the most valuable pitchers in baseball. His contract? $8 million for 2026. That's absurdly team-friendly for a pitcher of his caliber. Imagine a rotation with Gausman, Bieber, and Peralta anchoring the top three spots. That's not just competitive, that's a legitimate World Series rotation. The Brewers aren't going to give Peralta away, and Toronto would likely need to part with significant prospect capital to make it happen. But the ceiling you're buying isn't incremental improvement, it's championship-level dominance. The kind of pitching staff that can carry a team through October when offense goes cold and every game is decided by 1 or 2 runs. This is where Toronto's front office has to make a decision. Are they building a team that competes for wildcard spots? Or are they building a team that wins the division and goes deep in the playoffs? The cost of Peralta is high, but the cost of missing the window entirely is higher. We've seen teams wait too long, watch their competitive window close, and spend the next decade rebuilding. Toronto is not in that position yet, but they're approaching the point where aggressive action is required. So here's the real question. If you're running the front office, which move do you prioritize? Do you go after Kwan and secure elite contact, hitting and defense for years to come? Do you lock down the bullpen with Romero and ensure late-game dominance? Or do you go all in on Peralta and build a rotation that can match up with anyone in baseball? Each move addresses a different need. Each move costs different assets, and each move has a different impact on Toronto's championship odds. The Blue Jays are at a crossroads. The decisions made this offseason will determine whether this core group competes for titles or whether they fall short.